So has the truth finally come out about Southport? The monster that's accused of murdering those three beautiful little angels. It turns out that he has been charged under the Terrorism Act for downloading an Al-Qaeda manual. He's been charged with making a biological weapon, i.e. ricin. And yet, the Merseyside police, or the Keystone Cops, or Inspector Clouseau, or whatever you want to call them, are still unable to find a motive for the attack when those beautiful little girls were murdered. I think it's safe to say that this guy has an unhealthy interest in jihadist literature. Because by the sounds of it, he wasn't downloading the Al-Qaeda manual for research for a homework project. And making ricin, I don't ever remember doing that in biology at school. So, are we still being gaslit? Are the police and the authorities using the whole idea of not destroying the case against this individual as a reason to keep things quiet? Well, you draw your own conclusions. But what we do know, he was looking at jihadist literature. He made ricin, and he went and attacked 3 little girls and 10 other people, including children. That's what we know. So, of course, we can't say any more than that. Because if we say any more than that, that's all in the public domain. If we say any more than that, it may prejudice the trial. This is the sort of nonsense that we've got to put up with in our state. And when did the police know that he downloaded an Al-Qaeda manual? Was it the day after they busted his house? Was it a week after? 2 weeks? Because there's quite a bit of space, time-wise, between when they got their hands on his Al-Qaeda manual and now. Why is it only now that we're being told? Why hold all that information back? And of course, we were told when the riots happened that there was absolutely no evidence of terrorism whatsoever. It wasn't a terrorist incident, and we're still being told they don't know whether it was a terrorist incident or not. They don't know what the motive is. And yet he had an Al-Qaeda manual. Have you got an Al-Qaeda manual? I certainly don't. Have you ever made ricin? Don't think I made ricin. We're still being gaslit. We're still being trolled, I believe, by the establishment. And we need answers as a country. We need answers now. We need to know what is going on with this case. And yes, it is massively in the public interest. And if they can't find a motive, well, maybe they should bring in Inspector Clouseau, because I think he'd have a better chance of finding a motive than these plod in the Merseyside police. Anyway, let's see what happens next. But it seems to me that the government knew all of this. What did Yvette Cooper know? What did Sir Keir Starmer know? Because he was very, very quick to condemn the rioters as far-right thugs immediately. And yet this monster who had an Al-Qaeda manual, who'd made ricin, they still don't know what the motive was. They still don't know whether it was inspired by religious extremism. They don't know. They don't know whether it was inspired by his jihadist Al-Qaeda manual. They don't know. I don't believe them. I just don't believe the government. I think Keir Starmer may have to resign over this. I think Yvette Cooper may have to resign over this when all the truth comes out. And the terrible thing is that because this has been handled so badly, any faith in the justice system, any faith in the judiciary has gone down the toilet. And of course, we've seen plenty of court cases since the murder of those 3 little angels. Most of them involved men who went to protest. The protest got a bit out of hand And many of these men didn't even get involved in any violence. They maybe shouted at the police, a little bit of pushing and shoving, and they're 2-3 years behind bars. It's absolutely disgusting what's happening in this country. Keir Starmer, if you knew what happened to those little girls, if you know and you're holding back, shame on you. Shame on you. And you'll pay the price at the next election for sure. See you all soon.